So, okay, what do we have in here? We have individual AC fights in here. Which, honestly, that's gonna be probably very difficult for me, because many of them kind of blur together. So, let's just start from the top. The AC helicopter, the initial filter of the game, many people said this guy's already too difficult. I think this thing is not a great boss. There's probably... I don't think I'm gonna put anything in F tier, but I'm gonna think D tier is the start. So C tier is a baseline. C tier is like okay. It's an okay boss. And D tier is slightly bad, I would say. I don't think there's any horrendous bosses in this game. I would say maybe D, because it doesn't do much. Like, it just fires some missiles and shoots at you while just circling. I don't know. I wouldn't put it this high. It's meant to introduce you to the game, yeah. But I don't think that it's that much of an interesting boss. Especially, like, it comes back later to kind of show you, like, how far you've come and how quickly you can kill it now kind of thing, which I think is neat. But I don't think it's, like, actually horrible or anything. I just think there's way better things in the game. And, yeah. I could maybe put it into low C tier. I'm going to keep it in D tier for now, and we can move it up later if there's another revelation later on. Sulla, I think, is actually pretty cool. I like Sulla. I like the mix of the bubble gun plus the big bazooka. It's like a nice thing to adapt to. I would say he's probably like a B tier. I would put him. I think he's a good fight. I wouldn't say it's amazing. Definitely not S tier. A tier, I would say, is a bit too high. Sulla, I'm saying like a B tier. Bolteus is great. I love Bolteus. This is a fight, this goes back to what we were saying earlier, which combines spectacle and gameplay. This fight is interesting mechanically, as well as having just a very cool and interesting, like looking fight. Bolteus is, for me, is either high A or low S. Hard to say right now. I might put it in high A for now. Bolteus made me suffer, but it's absolutely a great boss, yeah. I agree. Rusty is fun, but I'd say Branches, Ambush, Ibis Air, and Thumbdale Mayan are good boss fights. They're dynamic without being too complex. Okay, let's quickly... Rummy... Rummy is kind of funny. Rummy's kind... You know what? I'm gonna give him C. Because it's kind of iconic. His Mad Stomp Scream. He isn't really a difficult fight whatsoever. Like, his fight isn't really all that interesting. But he's got a chainsaw. And he screams funny. So this is my list. Definitely putting him at least in C tier. Smart Cleaner. Smart Cleaner is not, like, mechanically a really interesting fight, but I think it's a cool spectacle. So it's definitely below Bolteus. I would almost say that Sulla is a little bit more interesting as well, so maybe I would put it in lower B tier. Yeah, it's got a cool spectacle, but it's not really all that interesting to fight. Or like middle B tier, whatever it's gonna end up. Again, this right now, okay, what's the boss's tier list? Okay, I am my tier list here. I am rating these. I probably should have said at the start. I am rating these based on how enjoyable the fight is. Not the difficulty, not like, I don't know, how the design is or whatever. It's like a mix of enjoyment to difficulty to like placement in the story, right? Placement in the game. It's an enjoyability tier list. Sea Spider is pretty good. I would say Sea Spider is worse than Bolteus. I don't know if I'm gonna put it in A tier. It's either high B tier or low A. I'm right now I'm tempted more to B tier, high B tier. Definitely better than the Smart Cleaner, and I think also more interesting than Sulla, so I think that's where I'm gonna put it. The Dafeng Student Pilot. There we go. PCA Warship. Not really good. I'm gonna put this in D tier. You have to kill one thing, and you just gun for it immediately. Below the helicopter for sure. Bottom of D tier. The student gets his own tier. The student gets his own tier. So, Swinburne. I'm gonna put him above Rummy. He's more interesting of a fight. I'm gonna put them in the same tier, I would say. Because Rummy just has this legendary status, while not really being that interesting. So I'm just gonna put Swinburne above that. Not in B tier. Doesn't get into B tier. The PCA Lieutenant and Sergeant, the ONS of this game. Not really ONS, but you know what I mean. It's a duo fight. It's like... Honestly, I don't think that this fight is that great. It's, I'm gonna put it in, like, middle C tier, maybe? Not too big of a fan. It's... I don't know. It's kinda easy. The gameplay against them is not that interesting. They got some cool moves, but they don't really rush you down or anything, so... I honestly don't remember him. Should I make another tier where I say I genuinely can't, like, remember? Probably gonna put him in D for now, because he's not memorable enough for me to place him anywhere, I guess. The helicopter in the Xylem. Here we go. Okay, so I'm putting this helicopter up to C, and putting this helicopter in D. While the idea is neat, it's not really an interesting boss fight after the first encounter, so I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna put the first encounter in C and the second in D. That's how we're gonna do it. The PCA Warrant Officer. It's probably C's I. This is an I'd fight. I'm gonna put him in, like, C tier here. The Captain and Lieutenant. Now, they are a bit better, but I still... While the PCA fights are kinda cool, I can't really put it in the same category as, like, these more high-tier fights here. I'm gonna say... like, top of C? And, okay, we still have a couple to go through. Let's do a bit quicker. Strider, very cool spectacle, but not interesting mechanically. However, because it's such a cool spectacle, I'm gonna put it at the bottom of B. I wish we had more fights like this in AC6, which got more elaborate towards the end. So I'm gonna put him based on just how cool it is to fight this gigantic thing. I'm gonna put it in the bottom of B tier. Honest Brute. It can go somewhere in here. Like, I don't know, it's like somewhere here. Not as good as that. Put it there. Raven. Now this, I think, is a cool fight. I'm gonna definitely put him in B tier. Although maybe even A, because I think as an AC fight, this one is both interesting lore-wise, as well as mechanically. The level itself doesn't really make much, doesn't really do much. This might even go in A. Yeah, Raven is cool. It's not a hard boss. Again, I'm not rating this on, like, difficulty. This is, like, enjoyability for me. And I think the significance of this fight combined with... I do like the visuals of this fight. And as an AC fight, it's also one of the more interesting ones. I think I'm going to put him in A. Iceworm. Bottom of B. Like I've said, spectacle. Beautiful, but... now, after, like, my 5th or 6th playthrough, it's like... I don't want to fight this guy anymore that much. This thing we just did... After the initial, like, look of it, I can't really put it higher than, like, somewhere here in D tier. It's one time only, and then everything after that is like, alright, let's get this over with. Iguazu! You going sad here. You sadden me, Iguazu. Enforcer, I think, is a really cool fight. I would put the Enforcer at, like, the bottom of A. Maybe even Raven below that. I think it was Raven below it. I think the Enforcer is cool. Can't get into S rank yet, but definitely well worth its spot in the A. Place A. Juggernaut is alright. I'm gonna put it... By the way, C is gonna be the biggest here. I'm gonna put him, like, somewhere there. Ephemera? I can't even tell what the picture is. You go in D, because I don't remember. It's probably better than this guy, or maybe than the Warship. Michigan. Michigan is cool. He's an amazing fight with minions and everything. Honestly, I don't think that the minions do the fight any favor. Like, yes, it makes it more difficult, but I don't know, I can't give it much more than B tier. I might put it in the like the top of B tier. Like, I mean, it is already towards the top, but yeah. Rusty now. Okay. So while I think that Rusty itself is not really that interesting of a fight, I think like mechanically, Raven and Michigan have Rusty beat in terms of like how enjoyable or how interesting the fight itself is. But the ongoing rivalry between us and Rusty and the lore that's built up and stuff, I would make an argument for it that it is either high A or low S. I'm gonna put him at the top of A for now. I might change some things around once I've gone through a couple more. Maeterlinck and Wu Huahai. Not really. I'm gonna put them like somewhere here. Not really interesting. Ibis, however. Actually, no, you know what? I don't really get this. These are just like, oh, I just want to get them done with. I'm gonna put them here. Ibis is S. Now, my reasoning for this is, I think that this fight perfectly encapsulates many of the changes to Armored Core 6 that Armored Core 6 has done to the franchise. And all around, just an interesting fight, a good-looking fight, a mechanically sound fight that I enjoy, both pre and after patch. So, Ibis is S. Rusty is not top of A. Rusty Ortis is S, but base Rusty is not S tier. Again, base Rusty, I would say an A for, again, the legacy, our rivalry. Like, we meet this guy towards the start of the game, and we meet him again and again while having to compete and stuff. So I think it's definitely enjoyable on multiple levels here, just not just the actual fight level. I will put Ortis in S, by the way. I will. Snail. I like Snail. I might put Snail in high B or low A. I don't know who I prefer between Snail and Michigan. I'm just gonna leave them together right now, because it's like, with AC fights, at some point they start to just blend together. Carla and Chatty, they gotta be higher up. They gotta be also somewhere in here. They gotta be somewhere in at least B tier. It's not easy. It's not easy. But with all of these AC fights, it kinda comes down to many factors, like the story, like the significance of the fight, like the connection we've built with the character. It's not just the pure fight, because if we're talking about a pure fight, most of the AC fights I would put down like into C. While they are enjoyable, they're not that memorable because there's so many of them. Ibis is like, I am Melania, Blade of Missiles. I'm gonna keep him here for now. I'm gonna, again, with these, it's kind of hard to put him. Lil Z, who the fuck? Smart Cleaner, Xylem. No reason for him to be here again. No reason. I'm just gonna put him in D tier. I was not looking forward to... I don't need to fight this guy again. Simple as that. The Boltea Snail version. Now this one is cool. Because it's a reskin, technically, I'm not gonna say it's as good as the original fight. But I'm still gonna put it in A, because it's a cool fight. It's Snail... Snail's death scream is great, but I don't think that I would put this any higher than somewhere like in the lower A tiers. Iguazu and Volta, in which specific mission? Oh, this is, I think, the attack defend I don't know. They're fine. I'm gonna put them in like C somewhere here. I don't know who this one was. It's probably more interesting than these two, so I'm gonna put them in the bottom of C. Iguazu New Game Plus. Sad. PCA Trio Ambush. What was that fight again? PCA Trio Ambush, I honestly don't know. C might be fine. Cataphract. Cataphract I think is cool. Not incredibly interesting. So I'm not... Maybe I can give it low B tier. You know what? I'm gonna switch Cataphract with these here. I think they do deserve a higher than okay status. Cataphract is okay, looks kind of cool. I don't know, I don't think I can give it B. This Raven fight here, I might put in B as well. Again, all of these AC fights are hard to do. Cold Call, don't really care. Go into C, it's more interesting than these. Hawkins and Pater, somewhere in the middle. Rusty and Flatwell. Again, all of these, I'm like, there's all of these little AC fights. They're hard to place now. Maybe low B, because it's Rusty. Arquebus main squad member, who? It's probably more interesting than these. Freud. Freud is a... I think Freud is a B. Freud deserves to be in the B. Steelhaze Ortus Rusty is S. It's an interesting fight on a cool stage against Rusty in his final form. Deserves S rank. Cataphract and Lieutenant, new game I mean, you guys, where did I put Cataphract? Cataphract was here, I'm just gonna put it next to it. Thumbdomayan, again, you're probably fine. O'Keefe, probably fine. Snail and Iguazu, you might deserve low B. I'm just going through these quickly now because all of these AC fights is like, come on, Pater, sure, you maybe, nah. Like high C, Pater maybe. Handler Walter, again, mechanically not that interesting, but I think for a central character that we've been with this whole time, I would put it in S. And also, Blandy, sorry, I haven't said good night. Thanks for stopping by. And both Air and All Mind, I would also put in S. How would I arrange them? I think All Mind is probably the coolest fight. I would probably do the fights in this order. The top fights. Yeah. All of these little AC placements could like move around, right? They could be somewhere else, just like differentiating one from another if they don't have any like big significance otherwise in the story or whatever. It's like, okay. But even the ones that have some significance are hard to place just because it all blends together. The Raven Trio should be in high A. I feel like that fight doesn't have as much of an impact as like the single Raven fight. So I don't think I would put it in the same tier. Let's say this is my list right now. I'm fairly happy with this. There could be some movements like within the tiers and stuff, but yeah.